first of all, hi, and thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. How are you guys doing?
Thanks so much for asking. Like we're in a very exciting phase of album promotion right now and doing lots of interviews, and it's so much fun and joy. Like I think we really enjoy it.
Yeah, I can agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, has it been fun for you guys to talk to journalists? Because I know that, you get asked so much the same questions that I guess it can be a little bit of annoying sometimes, maybe.
No, like that would be too much. I mean, like for us as a new band, I mean, we are all experienced musicians, but for us as a new band, it's the first time that we get like a feedback from the outside, and the questions that we're being asked allow us to kind of like see the other side of the mirror and like how do people view us. So it's super exciting, and in these times that have been behind us or that we are maybe still in, it just feels like being in a band, like it just feels really rewarding to be out there, even if it's just digitally. So
Yeah, I mean, speaking of reactions, how have the reactions been so far? You've also released 2 singles, I think. So how have the reactions been of fans, of press?
Yeah, we have the impression that all the reactions have been very positive so far. And yeah, we are pretty much overwhelmed due to the reactions. Our very first video, Under Fire, maybe you have seen it, has reached already more than 110,000 views in just, I don't know, when we released it in April, I think within 2 months. And yeah, for a band that is starting right now, this is really a huge thing. And we're really, really happy about that. And in general, we are receiving many positive reactions, of course, from fans, from friends, from family, and everyone else, and also from the press. And you talked about it just a minute ago. We really did a lot of interviews already, and yeah, it seems to be that yeah, the people out there like our album, also the press and everyone who has an online magazine or YouTube channel. We did something like that already, and yeah, we're really, really happy to get such a good feedback, and yeah, that really triggers us to go on with what we are doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you mentioned that you're experienced musicians, of course, but with the debut album of a new band, does it bring a lot of like, maybe pressure or anxiety with the release?
no, I wouldn't say that. Like it's pure excitement, and it's not pressure. It's just like a certain kind of I don't know, like there almost electricity in the air when you release your baby to the world, and then you get critiqued for it, and you hope that people like it. It's a very exciting moment, but no, not anxious or like. I mean, probably the pressure will rise with album number two because we had such a great feedback. But yeah, no, no, no.
Yeah, well, let's start maybe to talk a little bit about the beginning of the band. So you mostly exist out of members of Dawn of Disease, which disbanded in 2020. But was it somewhat important for you, Lukas, to start a new band and not continue with Dawn of Disease?
It was at the end of 2019 when it was clear that we will not continue with Dawn of Disease. And yeah, initially we planned to play some farewell shows, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, that was impossible. And we started Hiraes in early 2020. And yeah, it was pretty clear after the split up of Dawn of Disease that the four remaining musicians wanted to continue making music. And yeah, so we were looking for a singer, and we already knew that we wanted to have someone who is experienced, who knows how it is to be on stage and in the studio. And yeah, we knew Britta from the past, from her band Crippa, and also from Critical Mess, where she's still singing. And yeah, I wrote her an email, and fortunately she was willing to join us, and it took us some months to do the first rehearsal, due to the pandemic situation. But then finally, I think it was last year in May or June, we met for the very first rehearsal, where we also played our very first song we wrote together. And yeah, it was just a magic moment to be in the rehearsal room for the first time all together. And yeah, we just realized that the chemistry between us all was right. And yeah, so we started working more intensely on the new album. And yeah, then we finished the recordings. I think it was in January or February of this year. And yeah, it will be released just next week.
Yeah. Now, yeah, I was gonna ask how you ended up with Britta, but so you knew her. Was she the first choice for you guys as well in general?
Yeah, actually, we did not really talk about many other options. We just had some from, yeah, we're heading from Osnabrück mainly, but yeah, we all live in different cities. But yeah, Dawn of Disease was always an Osnabrück band, so the town is called Osnabrück. And yeah, we thought about maybe the singer of or bass players, other band, Embedded. But yeah, he's a good singer, but we thought maybe, yeah, that would be 2 steps back, then 1 step forward. And yeah, so it was pretty clear that we wanted to have Britta, and we were so happy and so, yeah, also overwhelmed as when she said, okay, I'm willing to do this. And yeah, really, yeah, completely engaged in everything, and yeah, wrote the lyrics for the very first song. And it was really, really a cool feeling to have her on our side suddenly.
Yeah. Now, as a singer, you probably get a lot of these requests of joining other bands. What was kind of the reason you said yes to this project?
That's a good question. Yeah, definitely. Like I get asked a lot. Probably not like so much of joining a band, but like for collaborations. And I've done a lot of collaborations during the pandemic because what else can you do? But the only thing that really matters to me is, do I like the music, and what is like the setting? Do I like the people? Because it's one thing when you like the music, then you have a good time writing, but you have to ask yourself the question: do I want to sleep with these people in a tiny tour bus for 3 weeks? Where everywhere are stinky socks, and you can decide which person just walked through the bus just by sniffing their farts that's still remaining there. So and like Lukas said, like we met for the first time, and the chemistry was great. And what was especially cool to see is that those guys are playing together for such a long time, and I couldn't sense any bad vibes between them. So it was very obvious to me that they were getting along just great, and I felt very welcome to the team. And the decision was made on that day. It was like electricity in the air. It's just like, yeah, this is gonna happen.
Now, I also looked at your website, and there's an explanation for your band's name, and now I have to read a little bit. So it's derived from a Welsh word, and you mentioned there it stands for nostalgia and yearning for lost places of the past, or a home that maybe never was. Now, I was wondering, with this, in there you kind of mentioned that this kind of explains the lyrical themes, but I was also wondering if that's also kind of, are you trying to go back to the roots of melodic death metal, or did you have any clear goal of the sound that you wanted to have with this band?
Yeah, that's a difficult question because yeah, usually I sit down and write the songs without really an aim to make the song sound this or that way. So yeah, I think it's the music is not really that much rooted in this old school melodic death metal. We also have modern elements, and it's a mixture of different styles and different kinds of music and different influences in general, I would say. And when it comes to the band name, I think it also fits the music, because we also have this melancholy in our music, also these melodies, and everything is pretty epic and gloomy a bit. And we choose this band name because it really fits our music, and also partly the lyrical themes that Britta writes. And so I think it's a well-fitting package all in all.
Yeah, so was the music there first, or did you choose the band name before that?
It was right in the middle of things, I think. I don't know how many songs were already written. At the very least, I would say 3. We were starting to like play around with some words, and then I like that, I don't like that, but like some things feel like 80% right. But then when this name comes, that will be it. You just know. And this was with Hiraes. Plus, it's nice and short, so it's, I don't know, it also looks good as a design, and you don't get much trouble like fitting in spaces somewhere, you know.
Now, talking a little bit about the lyrical themes, what can you tell about them? Like, what are the songs about, and is there kind of a red line in what you wrote for this album?
Probably not so much of a red line as in terms of that I planned it out. I just let it pretty much flow. I mean, we wrote the album within a pretty short time span of 10 months, which might sound a lot, but I mean, it's definitely, including like recording and everything, it's not much time. So I got the demos with guitars and drums, and I just played it as loud as I could in my rehearsal room and started to like very freely phrase over it, like with some gibberish, some words. And all of a sudden, I know that there's this process that you just don't want to touch, but like sometimes like these words just emerge, and then you kind of spin the rest of the story around it. And I would say that all the lyrics are inspired by personal experiences, not everything that I personally experienced, but that I witnessed. And so I try to find an essence for every single song and try to write it from a very narrow slice, from a very small perspective, to make it like dense, you know, like I don't want to explain the world to everyone. I just want to focus on one single slice of that cake. So I would say that the red line, if we want to pin it down on that, is probably to overcome something bad that has happened in your life in that very moment where you know that you're gonna make it to the end of the tunnel, you know, like in that split second where you're not good, where you're not well, you're not healed, but you can see and sense the light at the end of the tunnel. So in that very special, gloomy, dark position, from that I was looking into the world.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I thought indeed there's like, of course, this melancholic sound, but to me it sounded, maybe because of the lyrics, also a little bit hopeful. So is that something you wanted to put in there then?
Yes, definitely. That was my absolute goal. Like, especially in a time like that when everyone on the planet has issues with like keeping things together, keeping things running. I thought, well, here's your chance to just bring like, not a shiny, happy album, because that just felt wrong, but just like a ray of hope for someone who's looking for that, for someone who is in need for that. And, you know, like there's a certain power in letting go and in standing up, and you're still like, you know, you're bruised and you're bleeding everywhere. Like, no, I'm going to make it. Like you are become very aware of your own power, of your own strength. And this is a global feeling. I think that is something that makes the album also easily to access, because you will know something from your past where you felt this way, and then you can relate to it. So that's a nice thing to do.
Now, you also mentioned, of course, that you wrote the album in quite a short time, 10 months, you said. Why the rush? Did you want to take the most out of this bad situation for everyone, or did you just get really inspired to write music?
Yeah, I think it was just the wish to release an album somewhere, and we talked to our label, Napalm Records, and they said, okay, this time might be good for us, then we start working on it, and somehow it worked. And I think we could also have waited a bit more longer, but we're in the same situation than all the other bands releasing albums right now. It's hard to go on tour, but as a debut album, I think it's completely okay, because we wanted to say, hi, we're here, we're Hiraes, we're a new band, we have an album out right now, you can listen to it, and maybe in a few months it's possible for us to hit the stage. And we are also working on new material, so maybe there will be the sophomore album coming out somewhen, but we will see. But there was no real pressure from us, and also not from the label, but we chose it to do it. We could also have said, oh, no, we'll wait 2 or 3 years, but it's good to have done that, because it really was good for us as a band, and yeah, also for the whole working process, and to get used to it and to get to know each other when it comes to the songwriting and to work on the songs. And I think it was the right decision from the point right now when we look back.
I totally agree to that, and maybe adding something, as a newcomer, looking at the wave of new albums that is going to come out until the end of the year, you probably want to choose like to be at the beginning of the wave, because otherwise you would just like, I don't know, like be one of so many, because everyone was releasing unexpected albums. So yeah, I think it's good that we did that. Otherwise we would have waited a year or 1.5 years, and then I don't know, albums have a shelf life, and when that is over, you just want a new snapshot of what you're capable of, and then.
Do you feel like, because you mentioned that there, of course, is, as a debut album, there is no stress for tour, but do you feel like in general people also have more time to listen to new music, or how do you see that?
That's a difficult question to answer. I know that I had more time to listen to music, but that was also, of course, due to the fact that, yeah, you were like homebound more or less. And now that everything's opening up again, I feel like I have less time to listen to new music. But I don't know. I don't know how. Yeah, maybe. I think that in a certain way, the pandemic has taken speed out of the ordinary and daily life, and people are valuing like everything that brings joy to their life more, that they can also do independently of going out with friends. So I think the worth of music and of arts has definitely increased in the pandemic, and we hope to see that reaction also, like when we get ready to get back on stage and play out there.
Now, in another interview I watched, you guys mentioned that you did everything remotely kind of for this album, like the writing and the recording. And I guess that's not really a new thing, but I was wondering if, because of the whole pandemic thing going on, did you feel differently about it? Like, would you have wanted to kind of be more together during this process, or how do you see that?
Yeah, being together would have been great, I would say, at least for some rehearsals during the recording process, so that you can check out in the rehearsal room, okay, how is this song working, and may we change a bit here and there, and we all did this via the internet. It was okay, but yeah, it was also a bit limited due to the situation, but yeah, we tried to make the best out of it, and yeah, it worked out well somehow.
Yeah, and I think without the pandemic, the album title would have turned out to be a different one.
So you in the same interview, I think you mentioned that the song kind of reflects also you as a band during the pandemic, right?
In a way, yes. I mean, like sitting home alone without having the outlook on bringing the song to the rehearsal room to get a feel for it is, can be a little, the energy level is drowning pretty quickly because usually you get rewarded for the work that you put in by playing your music loud with your friends in the rehearsal room, and this just didn't take place. So from start to finish, you are you're on your own. If you don't do the job, no one else will do it for you. No one will like really help you with doing things. So it wasn't a very bad experience. It wasn't a bad experience at all, but it was a very unique experience, I would say.
Do you feel like it kind of had an effect as well on the album? Like, are there maybe songs that you in the end wouldn't have put on the record if you maybe played them together or something like that?
No, I don't think so. I think we would have put the same songs on the record. The question is, though, would the songs have turned out the way they have turned out? Because like when you more or less just reflecting with yourself, during that time you write different lyrics, you have different phrasings. You may be even triggered by the guitars in a different way. They just hit a different spot. So I'm pretty sure that without this way of writing and without this way of living during that time, the songs would just have a different vibe to it.
Yeah, it's actually interesting to see what your second album will turn out, because you will have the chance to be together then, I hope, at least, or I guess. But
walking on sunshine.
Yeah, anyway, you also mentioned in the beginning the music video Under Fire, and I was quite impressed by all the pyros used in there. So I was wondering, first of all, whose idea was it to make such a music video? And given the fact that music videos they last so long, wasn't it like kind of difficult for you guys to perform with pyros in a music video?
Yeah, the actual idea came from me because I wanted to shoot such a video for, yeah, I don't know, since I started to play guitar maybe, or since I saw Rammstein for the very first time. And yeah, so we shot this video last year in August, and yeah, during a very hot summer night. And yeah, we just had 5 rounds, so we just could play the song 5 times because, yeah, shooting those flames is not really that cheap. And yeah, it's a bit expensive due to the gas flames and everything, but it was a really, really great experience, and we had a lot of fun. And it was, yeah, as I said, very, very hot, and yeah, but it was completely really fun.
Is that kind of the energy you also want to have on stage in the future if you can tour again?
Hopefully, I mean, like if the album sells well, we might be able to fire 1 pyro or 2. I guess it's still quite a long way to bring pyrotechnics to like as a regular thing into our live set. But until then, we need to be like the energy balls on stage. And we have played our very first show just last week on a streaming festival, and I don't know, like Christian, our bass player, he's usually like he's not portraying like a very bouncy kind of nervous person or whatever. But like we played the first song and he was just all over the place, and it was that was really cool. Like someone had put a battery up his butt and he just went. So I'm pretty positive that our live shows will be energetic. Yeah.
How was the experience for you to perform the streaming show?
Only appropriate for a band performs during a pandemic. No, really, like that. It's a very professionally organized festival that we played. Usually it's outdoors, but they did it indoors for the second time, and they really did the best to make the bands feel at home. They put up like a big backstage tent in the yard so that we could be outside, and we really had the feeling of being backstage on a festival, and that was super cool and a lot of fun. Of course, it's a little weird to play in front of no one, but it wasn't really hard to imagine that there are people sitting in front of a screen and having a great time. So we received a lot of positive feedbacks, and that's good.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of shows, not that like it seems kind of at least like the world is starting to get open again, like in some months at least. Do you have any plans for a tour, or are you just kind of waiting still to see what happens?
Yeah, there's a lot of planning going on in the background. We cannot talk about it yet because nothing of it has been announced. But yeah, we will maybe have some shows in July, social distancing shows here in Germany. And yeah, when it comes, yeah, I think in autumn or something, there's also at least 1 show planned, and yeah, also maybe 1 or 2 tours. But yeah, I cannot talk about it yet. But we hope really much that this will happen somehow. But yeah, we do not have influence on the situation. But maybe it will happen. We are really, really hoping for it.
Yeah, at least our hopes are high enough that everyone's getting vaccinated as quickly as possible so that we're ready when the tour bus leaves.
Yeah, well, let's see. I hope at least to catch you guys one day, maybe even in Finland, who knows. But yeah, that's it for my questions. Do you have any last thoughts you want to share with your fans and people who will be watching this?
Yeah, maybe just that we are really, really happy with how the album is perceived so far. And if you guys out there like Hiraes, please comment. We read each and every comment, and it feels so good to get some feedback. We really need feedback. Like, we're hungry to know how you like the album and what's your favorite song. So that's really a nice interaction there. So yeah, keep them coming. We read every comment, and we highly appreciate that.